Ooh, I just tipped your cards. How are you, Aquarius? Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your weekly quick read for the week beginning Monday the 27th. Now, we have Mercury going retrograde in Libra this week. We also have a grand air trine happening, so it's not just affecting you guys with Saturn in Aquarius, but it's affecting Libra because Libra has the Sun and Mars and Mercury in its sign. And we also obviously have the Moon in Gemini. So grand trines are said to be fortunate and said to be a gift. Now, they're all in air signs. Now, what is the gift we can give our mind and perceptions, which is even more accentuated and highlighted with Mercury going retrograde, because Mercury rules the mind. It rules communication. So I've been saying this to the other zodiacs. Let's take a look at this concept of retrogrades and how they've really been given a bad rap out there. You know, we're all too familiar with the fear that surrounds retrogrades, and look out, this planet's going into retrograde, and Mercury is quite a popular one. You know, people start to talk about it quite a lot in mainstream now, but the thing is, it goes retrograde 3 or 4 times a year, so you think that there's this great opportunity of mastery, you know, when it comes to truly getting intimate with this idea of Mercury retrograde and what it can be gifting us, rather than just being a headache and giving us communication issues and issues from the past re-emerging that we'd forgotten and hadn't dealt with, or whatever the case may be. So if I'm looking at this idea of Mercury ruling the mind and beliefs and communication, okay, and 3 or 4 times a year I'm being pressed into pause mode on some level, that perhaps is a gift, yeah? Because if I'm truly to come into conscious awareness of my now, I must be willing to look at everything that has ever shaped me to get me to where I am. And a very big part of that is my perceptions. And how I connect my ideas to the external world is perhaps through connections and relationship, yeah? So that's the gift of Mercury in its archetype. And metaphysically, when planets are in retrograde, they're asking us to take a pause, to become conscious in the now. And that's why things that we rushed past and disregarded or suppressed come to our awareness. They come back from the past. The other gift this week is that grand trine, like I said. Now, that grand trine, Aquarius, Gemini is the moon is activating your 5th house, okay? The Sun and Mars is activating your 9th house. Now, the Sun and Mars is providing great clarity and passion and drive to 9th house matters. Now, we talked about this last week's quick read. It's about taking you to that next level of yourself, learning something new, be willing to open to the possible. Now, be willing to open to that next level of yourself and learning something new. The Sun and Mars transits in Libra tell a greater story. There's a 6-week story here. The Saturn being in Aquarius tells an even greater story. There's a 3-year story. So the version of you a year ago is going to be completely different to the version of you 2 years from now. It's a much bigger transit, okay? The moon in Gemini is going to only obviously last a couple of days, and that's hitting your 5th house. So there's going to be some temporary creative inspiration and really connecting into concepts of what does joy mean for you. And maybe, you know, the recent days, events, the last week, whatever the case may be, have sort of shown you where you can learn something new, okay? You can learn something new about your creative abilities, your ideas around joy and creativity and having fun and romancing yourself. You know, taking yourself to that next level of yourself, Aqua, is going to be, you know, on that pathway through joy and redefining that, okay? On a bigger scale, you guys are activating 1st house energies with Saturn in your sign. It's all about you and creating new rules about the version of you moving forward. And it's going to be completely different, okay, to who you once were. And that is unique. Doesn't matter what your story is. If you are an Aquarius, there is a gift you are offering the collective. You have chosen to be an Aquarius for a reason. And in many ways, when Saturn is in Aquarius, it is very, very different to Saturn in Capricorn, which is what we've just come out of, yeah? Alrighty, let's focus on those 2 transits. 5th house and 9th house matters. What can you learn through the gift of joy this week, being a joy to others, allowing yourself permission away from the mind, Aqua, into your heart space center, into your sacral chakra, to truly experience creativity, excitement, romance, and joy. That is the key this week for many of you guys. Connecting into humor will always spark joy. Being aware of the love that is within you and around you, okay? Bringing ourselves into that higher vibration. Because we all know what it's like to feel confused and indecisive. And there's a question for many of you guys that perhaps you guys are mulling over, and there's this new idea around freedom. And perhaps, you know, if I'm looking at these fifth house themes of romance, joy, and fun, like who's got time to do that sort of level of freedom? Like I've got responsibilities to do. I've got things to think about, yeah, Aqua. But the key this week is going to be in finding time for that. Mercury retrograde. And this grand trine, you know, all in air signs, is gifting you this opportunity to be free of old ways of being, doing, seeing, which ultimately made you feel perplexed, okay? And sometimes we only get indecisive when we are stuck between the old version of ourselves and the future version of ourselves, and we're not sure whether to hang on to that person or to walk towards that one and become them. Alrighty, let's take a look. Four of Swords. The Four of Coins. We've got double four energy. 44 is the Master Builder. What are you building? Are you building a new version of yourself? Maybe many of you have been on a very significant journey across the last 4 years, okay? The last 4 weeks have been relevant too, that have been highlighting. So if I'm working with retrograde energy, I'm going back. Maybe there are communications from the past. Maybe there was a situation you retreated from. Maybe many of you are feeling like it is time to retreat in order to identify the solid footing that you have right now and what is tangible and worth holding on to. For many of you, it's something you're not wanting to let go of, okay? It might be a belief, an idea, a new pathway, a new version of self. Because remember, with Saturn in your sign, you are redefining, you are recreating a new version of self over a 3-year period. We're not even halfway there yet. Okay, this is something you're going to want to hold on to. Perhaps you guys are learning something new here. Perhaps in this retreat, recluse, meditation, healing space, there's a powerful way you've been able to redefine fifth house themes of joy and romance. You've been able to activate that again after a time spent away from the fray so that you can truly begin again. And I'm feeling a very, very strong chrysalis energy for many of you guys, and perhaps for some Aquarians out there as you activate fifth house energies under the light of Gemini moon, okay? There's new ways to think thanks to Gemini and connect, all right? When it comes to what makes me feel joyful, creative, what inspires romance within me and my life, and how I'm choosing to infuse that. Like, do I want to wake up every day and feel this sort of energy, this sort of energy, this sort of energy, yeah? Or do I want to stay stuck here? And if your time to recluse and come into self has arrived, so that you can redefine, because that's what retrograde energy does. Mercury retrograde will take us back to old perceptions, beliefs, thoughts that have been limiting us in some way and haven't made us feel free, yeah? And that's what's calling to you, freedom, a new beginning, a new version of self. There's a gift there for you guys, Aqua, and it's something you're going to want to hold on to. Watch what can build, okay? The Four of Coins is not the 10 of Coins, yes, but it is a very important part of the journey to get there, okay? That was your quick read for the week beginning Monday the 27th. Aqua, hope you got something out of that by all means. Until next week, have an empowered week and take care.